Uptown Hospitality Group, which owns the Share House, Bodega, and of course Uptown Social, will open another location, this time in Mount Pleasant. Today, I talk one-on-one with Keith Benjamin, the owner and partner of Uptown Hospitality Group, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Keith Benjamin, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
How are you, Quintin? Good to be back.
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm bringing you back on Quintin's Close-Ups because obviously you're the owner of Uptown Hospitality Group, which obviously owns Uptown Social on King Street, Bodega and Share House on Ann Street, and the soon-to-be location on Coleman. And in fact, I want to go to the post for you in which they wrote this. A concept that started as a pop-up will soon expand its footprint in the Charleston area. Downtown Charleston's Bodega, first launched in 2020 as a pop-up operating out of the Uptown Social, will open a second brick-and-mortar store location at 1414 Coleman Boulevard in Mount Pleasant, previously occupied by Andolini's. Tell me, why this? Why now, Keith?
Yeah, Quintin. It's just we look around and we see success, not just in our own stores, our own locations, but we see success all over Charleston, right? And we see more and more people moving here, more and more people visiting here, Mount Pleasant is a place that I hold dear to my heart. I actually just moved over the bridge very recently. Coleman is Coleman Boulevard, no secret. There's just tremendous traffic. And, sometimes people complain about traffic. And in this circumstance and scenario, we welcome it because the more cars that are going by these stores up and down Coleman means, more business and better for the economy and more jobs. And we're just all about it. We're really jazzed. We're really excited. It's going to be kind of, bodega on steroids. We're making a few changes. There's going to be a drive-through, tremendous indoor-outdoor bar experience, some more items. We're not going solely with the sandwich concept. Of course, we will bring all the greatest hits along with us. But it'll be a more dynamic menu that really lends itself to lunch and brunch as well.
I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. But let me ask you, you talk about success. So where is your success right now with all the restaurants that you have, including in New York City?
Sure. I mean, it's been a grind. This industry is a tough industry to work in, and certainly through the pandemic, in which you and I met for the first time, I think right in the heart of it. There's been challenges all over the place, left and right, and so we've kept our head down. We've kind of looked for different pockets in which we feel like there's been openings, both as a result of the pandemic and just the nature of where we are in 2023. And we think that there's opportunities all over the place, not just in Charleston or Mount Pleasant, New York City, but I think that with kind of the way that I look at our partnership and the different skill sets, I think that we have a tremendous opportunity to continue to grow because we're humble and we lean on one another, and it's really truly a team that we have here. So that's where our success emanates from. It's just the team mindset. I played sports in college, and it's been something that I've carried with me throughout. And I try to run our organization as if it's a college athletics team, and there's just that level of accountability and effort, and we work really hard at it. So we just opened Downtown Social in New York City in the East Village back in early January. In fact, one of our partners from here in Charleston moved up to New York City to open that location. It's been amazing in the first 6-7 weeks. I've been back and forth a little bit, and it's been really, really special to see what's going on up there. And, I look around Charleston, Mount Pleasant, the greater Low Country, and I just see things that excite me all over the place.
Oh, you talk about that mindset, Keith. Where is your mindset, and where's the company's mindset when it comes to the growth for the company?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I look at that cartoon. You look at, I think it was Speedy Gonzalez, and he's just like he's flying all over the place all the time. That's kind of sometimes where I look in the mirror and I'm like, all right, relax, buddy, relax. And I just actually had 2 kids in the last 2 years, so I have a 22-month-old and a 14-week-old. We have a lot going on in my house and a lot going on, in all of the businesses. But I just turned 40, Quintin, and we have a really young, energetic group of folks that are wanting to move and move quickly. And we're smart, we're deliberate, we're calculated. We're not just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. We're really well. We take our time and,
Sure.
and we make sure to think out all the decisions that we're making, and we have tremendous brainstorming sessions and opportunities for everyone to weigh in, and certainly we have kids that went to the College of Charleston who are now in their young 20s, and they have a unique perspective. We have people like myself who moved here when I was 34. I'm now 40, and I have a unique perspective. And we have folks in our organization who are in their 50s, and they see Charleston in a through a different lens. So we really kind of have a really unique partnership in that we run kind of the span of 40 years in terms of experience and just having the ability to kind of, as I look at my phone right here, maybe my older partners aren't as strong when it comes to the social media game, but I have younger folks that I look at and I say, how can we target the people that we want coming through our doors? And it's just, it's really exciting to have such a wide range of talent and expertise.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this, Keith. What is your demographic right now?
In terms of our customers?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it really runs a wide spectrum. I mean, it's as we know, Charleston is such a tourist town, and so really anybody that comes and visits, we try to be the place for everybody. We never try to pigeonhole ourselves. Certainly, it'll be a younger demographic. After 10, 11 o'clock at night, we do have a 2 a.m. license at Uptown Social and Share House. Bodega, all walks of life are coming to Bodega. I see you, Quintin. You love your chicken salad sandwich, the chick flick. I always get a good tag, and it makes me really, really happy. But I mean, it's folks like you that really share their experiences on social media, and then it gets reshared, and we'll take it and we'll promote it, and then you just don't know. It's the cool part of our industry is you open the doors and you promote what's exciting and what looks good and what tastes good, and then you just hope that people are buying into it. And so that's really kind of our mindset at Bodega, Uptown Social, and Share House. While it's a different age range depending on time of day and time of week, time of year. It's really kind of a place that come one, come all mentality for us. So, whether it's college football or NFL season, come on in and watch games, or, party time at night or breakfast time in the morning, we'll have you.
Okay, Keith, let me ask you, when it comes to food in Mount Pleasant, what looks good and what tastes good from Mount Pleasant from a bodega standpoint?
So are you asking kind of what the menu is going to look like for us, or when I look around at other restaurants, what do I see as being successful?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
a little bit of both.
Yes, sir.
So our favorite restaurant, my wife and I love going to Post House in the Old Village, and Ben Toll there has done a phenomenal job at building that restaurant. Obviously, started downtown at Basic Kitchen, and in fact, his roots go back to New York City. We owned a place on the same street, Orchard Street in Manhattan. We didn't know each other at the time, but I just love what Ben does with his breakfast. He does an English breakfast in the morning for folks that stay at the hotel, which is really unique. His brunch service is top notch, and then of course the dinner. The dinner is just a can't miss. So that's been a place that we find tremendous comfort. We love that restaurant. But we're looking for something. We're looking to add a restaurant in Bodega that's certainly super casual. The Shem Creek bars and restaurants bring in a tremendous amount of people, all the time, specifically when the weather is really nice. It's a true sit down experience. You look up and down Coleman, you have the Mazzo, you have Vicious Biscuit, you have Ty's Roadside. I mean, really just quite a few casual experiences. And I think that Mount Pleasant is a great family market, where you have families that are backed up, whether it's the Old Village or Hopka or Ion, and all the way up to Bell Hall and North Mount Pleasant. There's just parents and their kids that are looking for a pretty casual, simple experience, and that's what we're going to offer at Bodega with our iconic breakfast and lunch sandwiches. We're going to be adding some Benedicts to the menu, some pancakes, some unique lunch specials, and it's really Quintin. We're going to close down by probably 3 or 4 o'clock every day. We haven't exactly set our hours, open probably by about 7 o'clock daily in the morning. Like I said, we'll have that drive-through and indoor-outdoor dining. You know, space for about 150 people to sit there and dine if they'd like, and if they want to pick up and go, have at it. Take it to the beach or take it on to work, or grab some sandwiches and bring them back to the house.
You just mentioned, and I want to make sure I include Paige's Open Grill in that, but you have Tide's Roadside, you have
Sure.
Bishop's Biscuits. I mean, all these places. Juanita Greenberg's right next door.
Yep.
How do you compete with all of that?
Yeah, good point. The Pages is a spot I like to take my specifically my almost 2-year-old. He'll sit there and knock down an omelet in what seems like 5 seconds flat. But no, Pages is certainly has roots in that community for a very, very long time. Juanita's has its own unique offerings. You know what, Quentin, we don't look at external competition all that often. Certainly when we're looking to sign a lease or buy a space, it's only the nature of the beast that we're going to look around and see kind of what's left and what's right. But once we sign that lease, we think about what we can do best, how we can stay in our lane, and how we can satisfy the community. And certainly you pull on inspiration from other restaurants and see what they do. But really, what are things that we offer that's unique? We offer a lively experience all of the time, no matter which one of our concepts you're visiting. We offer, top-notch food. We offer top-notch service. And entertainment component is usually there as well. So whether it's a DJ at 11:30 on a Saturday night at Uptown Social, or a big band at Share House, or just an acoustic guitar player, we like to really dig deep into the roots of the Charleston music community and offer that to our customers while they're experiencing the food and drink as well.
So when you sign that lease, Keith, what do you all look around and see what was left and what is actually best right there on Coleman?
Yeah, we like I said, they're busy breeds busy. So you look at the Bishop's Biscuits, you look at the Pages, you look at the Juanita Greenberg, Shem Creek, Shelter, Mazo. I mean, I could go on and on, right? They're busy, right? And so you bring more, like Ruby's Bagels. I'm a New Jersey guy, so I like a good bagel joint. You see these places popping up along Coleman Boulevard, and they're doing it for a reason. And the reason is that there's the volume and there's the traffic. And so for us, like I said, we look left, we look right, we see success, and we feel like we can contribute and be a part of that.
So you're going to have that success, Keith, but what energy and time do you have to ensure that this success is going to happen at your location?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I just said I have 2 kids under 2 and several businesses. I can't do it by myself. I mean, I look at a really, really deep bench. When we opened Uptown Social in 2018, we did so with 3 partners on the ground. We now have 12 here in Charleston. We have tremendous support from New York as well, from the group that started this back in 1991. So to have that to lean on is it's really, I can't even put that into words how important that is. And certainly, and most importantly for me personally, my wife, who gives me that support at home and allows me to continue to grow and focus on what we're doing professionally, while obviously paying really close attention to my kids and my family.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, Keith, what is the biggest difference about obviously the Uptown Hospitality Group from 2018 to 2023?
Oh, it's night and day, Quentin. At the core, our values are the same. Staying humble, staying in our lane, which I mentioned, loyalty, hard work, trust. All of those are our core values. But the biggest difference is our ability to pivot and certainly adapt through some really, really tough times, right? And so, the growth, like I talked about our bench, now having 12 business partners as compared to 3 back in the day, we probably have, between all of our locations, we probably have, 30 managers. We opened Uptown Social with 0 managers, just the partners that were on the floor. And now, just a creative output from our team. Anyone that pays attention to what we're doing, whether you walk into our locations, You see what's on the walls, you see our murals, or you pay attention to us on social media. The creative genius within our company is is really next level. And so, we were creative when we opened. We had certainly some ideas of things that we wanted to activate, but where we are today versus where we were five years ago, it's just night and day. And in fact, we're getting ready to celebrate our Uptown Social 5-year anniversary on April 13th, and it feels like it was yesterday, and it also feels like it was 20 years ago. So, when we moved down here, people said, it's going to be really tough for a group of New Yorkers to have success in Charleston. Charleston is not New York. Charleston is its own beast, and you need to come down and really ingratiate yourself in the community and allow for feedback and allow for community involvement. And we've taken that to heart. And I truly wake up every day in the mindset that I am a Charlestonian, whether I grew up here or grew up, elsewhere. That's who I am. That's where I am. I love this place. I love the community. My partners love this community. My family loves this community. We're really excited to see the College of Charleston basketball team having success. We have a footprint in the arena, and to see what athletic director Matt Roberts, who I think has been a guest of yours in the past, and head coach Pat Kelsey, what they've done there is just really exciting. So you see Charleston coming to life in different ways all the time. It's not the same old Charleston. I think it's really cool to see different people and different entities bringing new experiences and improved experiences to the Lowcountry.
So, what has been Uptown Hospitality Group's community engagement?
Are you asking how are we engaged?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned our involvement with the College of Charleston. I do sit on the board of the Charleston Wine and Food Festival, which I'm really excited about. That's obviously next week.
Right.
That's a new position for me. So we as a group have been really involved in the festival for a long time, and contributing to the food and bev community as a whole. There's an organization called Pay It Forward, which started during the pandemic, which contributes back to the food and beverage community for folks that really have trouble making ends meet in different ways. We just hosted a competition called Best in Bread over at Bodega, where we had 9 different restaurants compete for best sandwich in the Charleston area, and we donated a portion of our proceeds to Pay It Forward. We participate in many Feed the Need events and contribute to those folks and what Mickey Bass has started with Feed the Need. 180 Place, we've made several contributions. So just the list goes on and on. If there's someone that needs help, if there's an organization that needs support, we find our way to lend support, because I really feel like the right hand needs to feed the left in Charleston, and left to right. And not everybody has the means to make ends meet. So we're really, really fortunate for our success. We haven't, I think that with success, it's a little bit of luck and it's a lot of hard work. But I want to always keep in mind that there's folks that are struggling a little bit more, and make sure that we're contributing to the greater Charleston community in every way we can.
And speaking of greater Charleston community, Keith, as you just mentioned earlier in the interview, you talked a lot about growth. So how does Uptown Hospitality actually grow with smart growth?
Yeah, we need to be patient, but at the same time, we need to look for opportunities. And I think that, as you continue to see the growth in Charleston, the people that are moving here, and the tourism boom, Quintin, it's of my opinion that it's not going anywhere, and it's only going to get better and better. So it's just identifying those opportunities and making sure that we are not overextending our team. While we do have 12 partners and 30 managers, those folks are really busy right now. So it's making sure that we continue to grow the bench, and promote the culture and keep bringing people up from within. And if we have the right people in place, then we can continue to grow as much as we want to.
So how do you identify those opportunities right now?
Other opportunities?
Yes, sir. As far as
I just keep my ear to the ground, Quintin. I never stop. I never ever stop. My it's kind of like that hamster wheel that just keeps going and going and going. I'm constantly out and about. I'm constantly networking, speaking to different folks, seeing what spaces have worked in the past, what spaces haven't worked in the past. And granted, we have a lot of opportunities that come our way that just don't make sense for our group. So it's not like we're we're grabbing everything that comes our way. It just doesn't make sense. The success rate in this industry is, 1 in 10 succeed and 9 out of 10 don't. So, just because we've had some success doesn't mean we always will. We need to make sure that we're studying the volume, studying the demographics, studying the tourism, studying the local market. And when all of those things come together and we can check every box, then, that's when we move ahead and look to solidify the next deal.
So what are you studying right now when it comes to volume and the market and demographics?
Really, it's making sure that that we're always going to have the volume that we look for. So for Bodega, that volume is different than than what we look for an Uptown Social, right? And so Uptown Social, we look for a really kind of, I would say, somewhat younger demographic that lives in downtown Charleston, that can easily access and walk to Uptown Social Share House, for instance. Similar. Bodega now, kind of that model that we're looking at is more of a drive market, really kind of targeting areas where there's families and even folks that are kind of driving back and forth for this specific location in Mount Pleasant. It would be Sullivan's Island, right, and Isle of Palms. So you have folks coming from downtown on their way to the beach, grabbing a sandwich, moving that direction, and specifically in Mount Pleasant, you just have so many families that live around Coleman Boulevard that are always looking for breakfast and lunch and the quick kind of on-the-go solution. And we've put in a lot of time and effort. We actually hired a consultant to help us expedite the speed in which we are able to put out food at Bodega. Because we feel like, specifically on Coleman, when you have, I've heard numbers upwards of 20 to 30,000 cars a day, we need to be able to, not that we're getting all of those, right. It would be a good problem to have, right. But you need to be able to satisfy that demand and do it quickly, because if you're not putting out food and coffees as quickly as what's expected of you, then you don't get that return customer.
Speaking of customers, Keith, how do you attract and retain those customers?
I mean, you work in the industry, Quintin. It's all about customer service, right? It's all about quality of food. It's all about quality of beverage. And it's all about, really making sure that you check every box on every visit. And it's really, really difficult to do in our industry because there's so many variables of which we can't control, many of them, in that something might come up and it creates a tough experience for the customer, and you have really one shot at making it right. That's a lot of pressure. So for us, it's really kind of putting it on our game face, putting that eye black on, to use a sports reference, and studying that playbook each and every day, and making sure that we're as ready as we possibly can be to give the best experience we can, while understanding that there's going to be different things that come up throughout the course of a day or throughout the course of a shift that we might not expect. But as long as we prepare and we adapt and we lean on each other, then we'll be just fine.
Speaking of getting ready, Keith, what team do you need right now to run this restaurant in Mount Pleasant?
So we have Chef Alec, who's been with us since day one at Uptown Social. He started out as our sous chef and became the executive chef at Uptown. He's now the executive chef over the entire company. Alec is going to be moving full-time to oversee Bodega, because the goal, Quintin, would be to grow Bodega beyond just Mount Pleasant. We'd like several different locations, and Alec is really well suited to handle that. So it'll be Alec. We're still in the hunt for a front of house general manager. And then, I will support Kara Graves, who runs our marketing team. She'll support. And then we have a tremendous group of minds who will help us on the social media front.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll have to hire, a bunch more people to work.
And how many people do you hope to target as far as that hiring?
I'll have to lean on Chef Alec for that, but I would say, back of house, probably, 6 to 8. Like I said, it's a situation where we're streamlining the processes at Bodega Coleman to have it be very similar to, if you've ever been to a Quiznos, where everything runs on kind of a conveyor belt system. This is going to be an assembly line / conveyor belt system where everything gets done, pretty quickly, so that we can pump out food and sandwiches as quickly as is expected of us. So I don't think we're going to need too much labor. And then in the front of house, it'll all depend on what we're looking at in terms of volume. But I would say 15, 20 folks in the front of house.
Yes, sir. And Keith, how does this Mount Pleasant speed space actually meet your needs?
Oh, it's awesome. You're familiar with the former Andolini space. It's got 50 plus parking spots that we'll share with Juanita's, and we have a great arrangement with those guys, and certainly our hours will be a lot different. But parking, as we know, is paramount. Drive through. I mean, I've never ever worked any place with a drive through. But we did hire a consultant, like I said, to come in and teach us how to properly execute that. We're really excited about that opportunity because I look at several other places in Charleston, and people seem to just not want to get out of their cars. So if we can give that ease of service, we're really excited about that. We have 150 seats inside and outside. So for a climate like Charleston, where the weather fluctuates, but most of the time it's really, really nice, we can see people outside. And then we have an indoor-outdoor bar for that brunch service and the mimosas and the Bloody Marys, and it's really neat. And we'll have a handful of televisions for folks that are there watching, college football or basketball or whatever they are earlier in the day while they're eating their breakfast and lunch.
Speaking of eating your breakfast and lunch, this is really a silly, stupid question, Keith. But which sandwich that will be on the menu actually describes Mount Pleasant?
Oh gosh, not silly or stupid. That's a really hard question. I would say, the Grop is so popular, and that's just it makes such a statement. It's got such robust, bold flavors with the andouja, the pesto, the fried chicken cutlet, the fresh mozz. Mount Pleasant is a big town, big community. It's got the beach, it's got the golf, it's got tons of restaurants and different spaces to be recreational and enjoy fitness and parks. So the Grop is kind of the same. It's a lot all on one sandwich, just like Mount Pleasant is a lot all over the community.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, Keith Benjamin with Uptown Hospitality Group, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks, Quintin. Already looking forward to the next time.
Likewise.
All right, take care now.
You too.